What's going on, guys? Today I'm bringing you the video to wrap up a few months last summer into one video. Basically what I want to show you is the Ottawa Drift Club day, a bunch of the iCar days we went to, the Cars and Coffee and the race wars were a lot of fun, and also went into the 240 over that time, and also me with my double job 16-hour day kind of thing. So I'm going to recap as much as I can because unfortunately each day I went to iCar and other ones I just didn't have enough video footage. The one day I did get a lot. I'm pretty sure when the car was working properly for once. Like the one time it was working okay. So the first thing I did before the car was even down on the ground, I took the coils off it during the winter. I sent them off to Neo Motorsport. They're located outside of Toronto, and the car ran amazing with them this season. That was definitely a big help because I know they were very tired, very worn. Another thing that needed to be done was just general maintenance. I replaced my front lower control arms, which were gone. As you can see, they're just new. They were so bad. I haven't changed them since I owned the car. And again, it's like bad on me. I should have done that. April 27th was the first event this year at Calabogie Motorsports Park. That was the Ottawa Drift Club day, and it actually snowed. It was pretty cold. That was a decent day. It was just very slouchy. E-brake wasn't working that well, and also the clutch I knew was kind of on its way out, but it was still working all right. I'd have to almost double kick my clutch at the Calabogie day and have to bring it back with my foot so the pedal would actually stick. So I wasn't sure what part of the system it was doing that, but I literally had to dump the clutch and as I stomp on it, pull it out with my foot. So it was very, very difficult at Calabogie that day. That's why I was having such a hard time. The next event was literally the next day. It was iCar, Cars and Coffee, the first one we went to. It was a really, really nice day. Got to check out some of the scene there and do a few hot laps actually. Just a little hot sprint they let you do. I think it was 20 bucks for the day. It was for time attack for the sprint. It wasn't a full course, but it was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, I didn't bring any drift tires or spares. Wish I did to burn some rubber, but anyway, had an amazing day there. So I think it was about May 4th, I picked up a new clutch pedal. Well, I used one, but from someone local, because mine had to be re-tacked once or twice, I think, and it was bent and just awful. So I got a new clutch pedal. That seemed to help and replace it before iCar. The day following getting the clutch pedal was Cars and Coffee Cinco de Mayo. That was a really good day. Went with some people. I know Terren time attacked his car again in the hot sprint track, and I actually brought my spares to drift that day, and it was a lot of fun. So the only thing that happened that day was I clipped the concrete wall along the fence line as the viewing area. I didn't notice until after I was talking to Terren as he was lined up to go out, and I turned back to the 240 and I saw a little white spot on the bumper. I didn't know what that was, so I walked up to the car. There was a bit of a scrape along the bottom of the exhaust and the paint was missing, so I literally just skimmed that wall, which is pretty cool and pretty scary because I could have hit it really hard or also missed it. So that was pretty awesome. So the next event was another iCar night, May 11th, literally the following weekend. Race wars at iCar. I think those first couple months, all we did was work, go to the track. Work, go to the track. So it was the first good couple months of summer for sure. We all had to work that day still on the Saturday at 5 until 5, so until 10 or so, I believe. And I got to do some night drifting for the first time and took a few friends out for a couple ride-alongs. By the end of the night, just because I was beating the crap out of the 240 as usual, the clutch got very, very tired and it would not kick. It just would slip. And I would try and kick it out and it just would instantly rev out. So I stopped, brought the car in, let it cool off, put the tires back on, let everyone else enjoy the night, watch some more drifting and spectate for once. And then we all went home. I think a few days later, I had already ordered my clutch through Trackwerks, through Ottawa Clutch, and they got me a beautiful stage 3 bully clutch. That thing looks sweet. So I was able to do it at work with some assistance of Terren, and that was a scary night because I only had till 9 o'clock to get it done, and I knew it'd be easy, like no worries. So I think the main issue was that when I took the transmission off, the ball for the pivot fork was broken off. So that I think was one of my clutch issues. It wasn't the pedal giving me an issue or even the clutch system. It was that because it wasn't even seated onto the transmission. So I basically had to tack on the ball back to the pivot spot and make it as perfect as I could by eye, give it a few tacks and then weld it. So it held the whole season, so that was pretty good. But having that come out when I needed to do a quick job was not fun. So that took a bit of extra time. And then when we were rushing to put it back together, we forgot the dust plate. So we had to take the clutch and flywheel back off, and then we got it done barely. Thankfully, Trent was there and helped me with it. That got done finally, and it felt amazing. Even though I couldn't really rip the car, it still felt pretty damn good. So after replacing the clutch every day, I was trying to drive a little bit farther just to break it in, you know. And I do like doing the 1,000 kilometer break-in. Some people do more, some people do less. But I really like doing that, just it's an OCD thing. So I replaced the rest of the clutch pieces a few days later. Crazy House, thanks to Kurt for letting me use the space. I replaced the slave and also the master, so there's absolutely no issue. I already have a braided line, and then I had the new pedal in. So it was basically everything was brand new, and of course the clutch and everything like that was perfect. And finding the root of the problem, the master. So when I had taken it off, I realized that the fork that's supposed to go to the pedal coming out of its seat. So it would stay in there for a certain amount of time, and then it would get loose or it would get cockeyed because of how the pedal would sit. So that sucked. But after replacing everything, it ran amazing. And I broke the clutch in that night, the rest of the distance it needed, because there was actually another iCar day the following day. So went on a late night drive, doing a normal speed, but then slowing down, speeding up, shifting through the gears, getting it broken in properly. But of course, on the way home, something happened. I heard a bolt. Obviously, I knew after it was a bolt. I heard something hit underneath the car, like a ba-dum-ting, and I was like, huh, that's weird. Went to downshift on the highway just to change lanes and get through the last bit, and the clutch pedal just stuck to the floor. I tried returning it with my foot, it did not come up. I tried reaching down, pulling it up, and it just slammed back down to the floor. Pull over on the ramp. I get underneath the car. Well, I look underneath it. I don't have a jack. I only have as my tools. And I can see that the slave is like this and the piston is like this. So it's barely holding on. It's got one bolt in. So I found a random bolt that had the same thread pitch in my bag. Thankfully, that's always why you keep bolts, washers, stuff like that. You always have a little jar of that or a baggie of those in your car, right? I mean, if you drive a 30-year-old Nissan, you do. But I threaded in perfect. Got it to work, bled it just to make sure, added some more fluid. I knew I needed to do a few more things on the car, but I wanted to wait till morning. I was gonna get up early before the track day at iCar, and also get a few things ready because I had a meeting set up actually at Trackwerks for a bunch of people to drive down there together because everyone was excited. So morning came, and the 240 ceased to start, ceased to do anything. So I'm thinking, what? What the hell happened? Everyone starts coming over because I said the car's dead, like what's gonna happen? Okay, let's get to it. So I put it up in the air. I knew we needed to at least establish that the slave was good, so I need to fix that. Someone pointed out that there was a burn mark, actually about a toonie size, took the fender off, and yeah, it was just a big like fist, like it was a mess. All black, singed wires, everything was just like clumped together. So we started basically going through each wire, like taking it off, stripping it, cutting the bad wire. I had another harness. I pulled that out, chopped the wire we needed. We started clipping that together. More people show up. I can't thank them enough for helping me. And I think it was Daniel or Wade that spotted the main fuse in the 240 was broken. Or one of them, or like the fuel pump. One of those systems. I had replaced them once, thankfully. Put it in, made sure everything was good. She started right up, almost a couple hours behind schedule. So we got the car back together. I finished the slave, put it back on, made sure everything was good, threw all my tools, all those parts, everything, because I was about to be fed up with this car and just go with someone else. So I took everything out. Put everything in the car, rushed over, driving into Trackwerks. Awesome feeling. Everyone was there cheering like, woohoo! I was like, okay, let's go. There was about I want to say there's 15 of us that rolled down and some left ahead. So there's almost about 20 of us, I want to say, give or take, at iCar. And it was so much fun. With that new clutch broken in, I got to take almost everyone I wanted to take for a ride that day, and it was awesome. The e-brake was working okay from what I remember, but that clutch, what a difference. Even on that tired engine, was unreal. It's probably one of the best iCar events so far that summer. It was Holiday Monday, or how they had it posted, because in Quebec, it was Lundi Férié. So that was a really fun day. New clutch, lots of people going, and everyone loved the ride-alongs. And I loved giving them, being able to shred tires properly for the first time that year. And later that week, actually, the 240 thankfully had the new clutch and everything ready to go, because I actually was my cousin's best man at his wedding out in Richmond Hill. So I drove the 240 on a nice country drive all the way to Richmond Hill, taking the 7 in the back roads, and of course going through, stopping at places like Mossport, getting a couple pictures, and just taking in the scenery, because it's so beautiful out there on those back roads. And that was an amazing weekend in Richmond Hill with my family, celebrating that. Other than that, guys, that's the update from the beginning of spring, basically, until the end of May. We had a nice break until the next event, which was CSCS round 2, and you'll see that coming up.